create the traffic, then you see how we can engage with them, and then you see how you can try to convert them. So most of the time what happens, people are just running one campaign of lead generation. They are not even bothered about running any brand awareness campaign, any reach campaign, or any other sort of campaign. That's the major challenge over here, that many of the people do not understand the basics of inbound marketing strategy. Why HubSpot says, okay, inbound marketing strategy means so and so in the sequence of the process of your deliverables, is because many people do not understand that. And hopefully at some point of time in the career, they get a click, they get a hit, and then they try to understand that these are not individual points. I should have thought about it in an independent manner, but these are all very well connected. We should try to go in a very sequential manner. That is one point. And the second thing, why a lot of people today are not doing a lot of analysis, because during our time of 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that time every PPC agency, every ad agency used to have a team which used to maintain 24/7 campaign management. There were three shifts. In three shifts, three different people will be working, and they will be giving support to the PPC campaign management for the whole 24/7. But today, not even properly anyone sits in front of the system to manage it even for 8 hours. So where do you think, like, okay, you can bring up so much of analysis what we used to do it? Because we and the most important part over here is, today automation has taken up the competition in such a way that the manual way of you managing the account, you putting your analysis so that then you can use the automation, is very much redundant, because we never ever had that automation in our life till the time actually automation was played a very important role. We used to do everything on Excel. We used to do completely all the analysis on Excel. For us, our life used to go around Control C, Control V, VLOOKUP, and pivot table. These are the four Excel formulas where we used to spend a lot of time. And today, if you ask me, I can create 100, 200 reports easily to tell you what works good, what works bad. Okay, we know those things. But today, even a lot of people will not understand, because they, first of all, do not sit in front of the system. And they do not even manage the account for whole 9 hours. They will just manage for 30 minutes, 1 hour, or they will put into automation. Or we have got one more thing called automated bid strategy, where without your intervention, Google takes care of everything. So where will you apply your logic over there? So that is another challenge. So these are some of the things, hopefully, if people who really want to get into Google AdWords, because uh, uh, Casey told about automation, Casey told about search, display, and everything. So many things are there in the Google ads, but to be very frank, there's so much of in-depth thing. If you ask me, there is auction insights. There is, we are talking about the way we would like to have that breathing space for display campaign. But even to give a breathing space to your audience, you have frequency capping. So frequency capping means how many times would you like to show your ads to an individual, so that the person doesn't get really, angry or redundant with whatever you're trying to show them. So there are a lot of things. But then these are some of the things why the today's scenarios is very different. But yes, Casey also made it very, very clear that do not look at what has been introduced in last 2 years. Look at what is going to happen in next 2 years, so that you can at least prepare yourself. I know today's generation is quite different than to the way we have been built up. We cannot change them. We cannot change the scenario. But anyone who would really like to get into Google AdWords in a very intense manner, they really have to manage the campaign on a very long hours, analyzing many data, playing with Excel, because my life goes around Excel. For like, you can say I play with Excel like crazy. One second thing is, my life goes around playing with keyword and ad copy. I spend a lot of time on keyword and ad copy. So that's
Campaign
how.
that you can say data.
Sorry. Yeah, go with them. Someone interrupted. Okay. So what is happening over here?
Sorry for the interruption, Ranjanji. Yeah.
Yeah.
By mistake, some button got pressed out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you ask me, before I get into my topic in next 2 minutes, I, as a digital marketer who is very much intensely involved with Google AdWords, I would say, if you really want to spend a lot of your time, I would say do a lot of your research on keyword and writing ad copies, because those are the backbone of any digital marketer. Because keyword is your connecting factor with your customer. Through that, you and the customer get connected, and it is the ad copy through which a decision will be made whether the person will come to your website, or whether the person will go to some other website. So if these two things, if you can join it really good, with a proper campaign structuring, everything, your success there. But there are many other parameters, like we have got search campaign, display campaign, and everything. That is a different context that you will use later, but your foundation has to be done in a very different level. So
Yeah.
on that context, I would, for me, I feel if anyone who's playing with SEO, who's playing with PPC, and they really want to have a success, I think maximum research you people have to do on keyword part and ad copy. And one more thing we should not be forgetting over here is buyer persona. You should not be building your keyword just by looking at your website, because it is not that who directly respond to your business are the real customer. Because people who search for digital marketing course are not the only audience, okay, who fall into my path. No, they are not the one. There are entrepreneurs who are also looking for digital marketing course. There are students who are looking into digital marketing course. There are marketing professionals who are looking into digital marketing course. There are web designers. So the question is, there are many people, there are students also who may not be knowing about anything about digital marketing course, but once you go in front of them with your ad copy, hopefully they will find an interest, they will try to reach out to you. So there are many people who may not be searching the exact term with which your business relates, but the only thing is you should build up a proper buyer persona list, that these are the people who fall into my target audience, and for each of this audience, how should I go with the targeting? For sure, the one who directly falls into your target audience is the one who is searching for digital marketing course. But there are another 10, 15 audiences who may not be searching for digital marketing course on a daily basis, but they are doing some other searches, and you should be able to play with them through your keyword part. So that's how you have to look into the fundamental ground. And coming to my agenda, it's a very fundamental part. Hopefully, anyone who is running the Google AdWords campaign, okay, if they can abide by those things, and for sure, while abiding those things, many things will be connected, because whatever Pranav said will be a part of the connection there. Casey said or Siddharth said will be a part of the connection. I'll just share my screen so that we can go through the discussion. 1 second, guys.
Sure, Ranjan. Sure.
So hopefully all of you can see my screen here.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. The reason why I have chosen this topic, because when I started with Yahoo, I worked with Yahoo for almost 18 months. And in that 18 months, I changed into 3 different departments. And I was happily doing that, enjoying the lavishness of a brand, okay, and going with the brand and everything. But I literally didn't know where do I stand and where am I heading on to. And immediately after Yahoo, I jumped into a very, very strong agency in Bangalore. To be very frank, I was lucky to have those type of seniors, okay, who taught us PPC in that in-depth manner from the basics to the advanced. And I could say that the reason why I could today explain some things very detailed could be the support what I've got during that time. And if they would not have shared those things, I would not have been in a position to do the same impartment to my students. One. So what happened over here is, when I jumped into the agency, there they started taking me from basics to advanced. And then I realized that, Ranjan, you know what, in Yahoo you used to do a work of so and so point. So what was happening here, guys? In when you run a campaign on Yahoo, you will set up the complete structure. And once you have completely set up the campaign structure and everything, and before your campaigns or ads are taken live, okay, someone from Yahoo team will review your ad to make sure that it abides by the Yahoo guideline. The same thing even it happens with Google AdWords. Before your ads are taken okay live, someone will actually check your ad copy whether it abides the Google this one guidelines or not. So I was working the same responsibility in Yahoo, and I was having no awareness where do I stand with the PPC. But when I went into Google AdWords work and everyone started taking me from the basics to the advanced, I understood that, oh, Ranjan, you know what? Your life cycle is so very important. So anyone, anytime getting into any subject or any responsibility, if you can give them a complete life cycle, like this is what the whole 360-degree approach will be, then the person at least knows that these are the things I am not actually holding on to. This is what my responsibility is, and these are the things which actually I need to learn, because in my whole life cycle these are the all parameters that is involved. So that's the reason why many of the time when I start with my course, I give this life cycle so that everyone is very, very clear. Let's say tomorrow when you work with IBM, tomorrow when you work with Accenture, or when you work with Yahoo, they will have Govardhan only work on campaign management. They will have Pranav only work on keyword research. but the question is, he's happy working on that, but he doesn't know like where do I stand in the whole life cycle. But if someone gives them a clear life cycle picture that, okay, this is the whole life cycle and this is the responsibility what you're holding on to, at least he knows that, oh, I am doing this, but there are so many other things which I have to connect in my career as a part of this whole life cycle completion. So with that approach, what I feel is PPC, Google Ad, whether you talk about PPC life cycle or whether you talk about Google AdWords life cycle, you can divide it into three levels. That is phase one, phase two, and phase three. And if you can just follow up this three level accurately in this manner with so many additional features, which is a part of your strength to optimize your campaign, that is later. That is something advanced you do not have to worry about. Today, remarketing is there. Tomorrow, Casey will talk about scripting. Something else will come up and everything. A lot of things are coming up. Everyone will learn. But these are the fundamental parts which we have to know so that we first of all 100% have to confirm ourselves that we know the subject in a very holistic manner without missing any dots over here. So what I always feel is, as a PPC, as you're jumping into Google AdWords, or you're starting with career, or you're already into Google AdWords and everything, hopefully this is the approach you're giving. If you're not giving it, hopefully you can start connecting the dots over here. The first thing over here is, any PPC expert, before actually they start with the ad, they do not have to involve themselves into any sort of work. So let's say you're taking up a project and you are starting with a PPC Google AdWords project. It is not your part to immediately jump into the project work. No. First, have a clear discussion with your client, understand the expectation, what type of budget, what is the objective. Now, please understand, in digital marketing, there are three objectives with which any business runs. Either you're looking for more of traffic, or you're looking for more of engagement, or you're looking for more of conversions. With these three objectives, we are trying to run the campaign. So same way with PPC, Google AdWords also, we are running with three objectives. One is either you're trying to increase your impressions, or you're trying to increase your traffic, or you're trying to increase your conversions. So please have a clear discussion with your client on the budget part, on the objectives and the goals and the targets they're expecting from you. What is the target audience location they want you to target? Who are the competitors, okay, which they think on a primary level you should be focusing on? And what are some of the products or services on a very primary note they expect you to focus through your campaigning? And if there is any other information they would like to share with you, you should get all the information. So if you're starting with any PPC project, please make sure that it is not you who gonna start first. It is your client who has to share all the information and give it to you, so that you can then plan, strategize, and start with the implementation of the execution of the process. So this is, so this,
Ranjan
yeah,
ji,
please.
they should have format wherein they have to obtain all the information. If client is not voluntarily sharing it, as a marketer or as a Google Ads person, you should obtain it in the way you want it. You have a preset
Yes,
format and obtain everything from that.
correct, correct. So you have to collect all the information. Once you have all this data, then for you to jump into your expertise of working on the project can be initiated. So from here, actually, you as an expert can actually get started. So what happened? You got all the information. Right now, you have to do website analysis and auditing. So when it comes to website analysis, please understand there are two things involved over here. When it comes to website analysis, it's purely you analyzing the website so that it can help you to derive on the right keyword and ad copy writing or ad copy strategy. And why we do a website auditing? Because you would not like to bring up a customer who will come to your website and have a negative user experience. So for your customer satisfaction, you need to do a proper website auditing. For example, whether it is the mobile responsive or not, whether the page is actually loading in a few seconds or not, whether all the links are working properly or not, so that if your website is 100% clear, concise and everything, you know that the person who will come to your website will not have a negative experience. So from that point of view, you have to take care of these 2 points very clearly in the initial level. And this will also be the backbone of you to go ahead and structure your campaign. So what you do for yourself, you have to do for your competitors, because to keep yourself in the competition, you have to be one level up of your competitors. So very important thing is what you try to, because you're not fighting alone in the online competition, it is with your competitors. And if you do not understand what they're trying to do, it's very difficult that you are just using your own technology and strategy and you don't know where do you stand with the competition. They are really trying to play something else. So please make sure that what you do for yourself, the same extensive level, you can do it for your competitors. So once this two thing is done, it is also very, very clearly when it comes to PPC, please understand one thing. Most of the people say that rather than sending the traffic to the website, try to send them to PPC landing page, because you do not want to divert them in any way to reach the end goal. So please make sure that if you feel that your website is very, very competitive, then send your audience to your website, or else please make sure that you create a separate landing page and you send them to the landing page, so that the conversion will actually happen more aggressively than depending on the website. So it is up to you whether you really want to bring up a landing page or not. Because recently I completely improvised my website. I want my audience to completely know about my new look and feel of my website. So I do not want to send them to a landing page. I want them to go to my website. So that is my strategy. So your strategy can differ, but most of the time people do prefer having a PPC landing pages, so that they will not be completely diverted. People go there, read whatever they want to, whatever specific they want to really relate or read out. And if they fill out the form or convert, they'll convert, or they'll just move out.
And a
So
high focus, the focus will be exactly on that specific thing, what you
on
want
the
to, what you want them to do. And many
correct,
people don't know what they do is in landing page also they keep the footer header links intact. They should never do
yes,
it. Only
correct,
one
correct.
call to action should be there, one or two maximum.
Correct.
Uh,
So these three things, once you keep it ready, you are very much clear what the keywords and ad copies you're planning for your campaign. So then you can go and structure your campaign. And when you're structuring your campaign, please do understand that your structuring of campaign is purely dependent around your keywords. Your structuring completely depends upon the total number of keywords you have planned. And one more good thing what Casey said was, if even 300 rupees can be a good productive for your Google AdWords campaign, but make sure that you are not targeting 300 keywords. You're targeting only 3 keywords or 30 keywords, because based on the ratio of your budget, you should also plan to target your keywords. And the same thing, even Siddharth said that whether you spend 5 lakhs or 50 lakhs, at some point of time, the result is going to be limited, because the audience size cannot be increased. But I would say one more thing, that yes, when you are targeting, for us it's not about the audience. We are not targeting the audience, we are targeting the audience through the keyword what they search. So at 5 lakhs I might be targeting 50,000 keywords, but with so much of permutation and combination that can be possible through Excel sheet and everything, and Google keyword research is there, and many other things are there. Hopefully of 50,000 keywords you can also convert it into 5 lakhs, because when I was working for a travel company, we used to target close to 3 lakhs keyword. We could think of any, if you think of any keywords, we have it for it. And to be very frank, when your budget is high, your number of keywords, how much you can expand, is going to play a very important role, because any client who is ready to invest more of money on PPC Google AdWords, sometimes their strategy is only one thing, that I want the maximum share capturing while I'm running the Google AdWords campaign. So that's how everyone thinks, but hopefully might be Siddharth or Pranav or Casey could have their own opinion on this, but this is my experience. So what happens over here is, once your client discussion is over, once you've done a proper website analysis and auditing and competitor analysis, and if you feel that landing page is viable, you can go with that. After that, the major part of your work should be spent on campaign structuring. And your campaign structuring is purely about your keywords and ad copies grouping. Okay, how you would like to group your keywords and ad copy. And I give a very simple example. Okay, in my class also, sometimes people ask how many keywords you should have in one ad group. Okay, and I always say one thing, that okay, to my student, that if you had 30 students with one faculty, you had 15 students with one faculty, and you had 6 students with one faculty, which is the best ratio where the student and the faculty will really have a qualitative outcome, then the people will say 6 or 8 or 10. The same way, your layman's concept can be inculcated here to really strategize what the right number you should have for each of your ad group. So if you can structure your campaign specifically around specific keywords, because you know what, even the same discussion happened today while we are talking, that many of the times people do not know how to group. People do not know what is grouping, what is ad group, what is campaign structuring. They pick all the keywords and they just put it into, they just dump it, and they just write one ad copy, and they do not see the results, and they blame Google. They say Google did not get me the results, but they don't understand that Google works in a given way. Only when you adapt that strategy, it can give the best result for you. So
yeah,
it's very, very important that you have to structure your campaign. And while you're structuring your campaign, please make sure that you take the best measures of the right keyword And please make the best usage of match type. Many people do not know match type. The reason why, because in SEO there is nothing called match type. The match type concept only comes in Google AdWords, or it comes with Twitter ads account. The match type strategy doesn't come either in LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. And this is a very good feature to really bring out qualitative clicks while stopping irrelevant traffic, and which actually indirectly helps in your CTR and your quality score. So the right keyword research with the right ad copy while following the right ad extensions can give you a proper campaign structuring, so that okay, the outcome what you expect is good. And to be very frank, now the first question comes: while we are explaining this phase one or phase two or phase three work, for all of this point, I should have a measure that should tell me that, oh, I did all this thing, but what is that thing which will tell that I have done this all work really good? Then I would say it is the score that you get for your quality score for your keyword that will determine whether you have done all this work 100% good or not.
Yeah.
So if tomorrow, after doing proper research, doing campaign structuring, creating keywords, writing ad copies, if you're not attaining a good quality score, it somewhere means that you have failed with your phase one work. Because end of the day, we all are doing this qualitative work to make sure that we get a good quality score. And what is the benefit of quality score? That we get a better position while being charged less by Google. And who doesn't want to save that single penny? Okay, so that they can actually reduce their budget and they can spend that money on a more wiser note. So I would say that if you really want to evaluate, or you want to somewhere summarize that I have done my phase one work really good, then it is the outcome that you get through your quality score that will determine that you have done a real good work on this part.
Yeah.
So this is the initial part of your getting the work organized. Your campaigns are not yet ready. You're just making sure that all your work is 100% right, correctly implemented, or correctly strategized, organized, so that you can now take it live by setting up the account. And the second part of your phase two is where you set up the whole account. You set up your AdWords account, you set up your tracking code, conversion tracking code, you set up your remarketing code, you make sure that your AdWords account is linked with Google Analytics, Google Webmaster, YouTube, because while you're trying to optimize your Google AdWords account, if you can also get the data of Google Analytics, Webmaster, YouTube right there, so that you can have a better judgment of your data, that is the best thing what you can actually have for your campaign performance. And many people do not link their AdWords account with Search Console or YouTube or with Google Analytics, and they are actually deprived of a lot of metrics that is only possible through this linking connection.
Yeah.
One second thing is, make sure that you have set up the conversion tracking code proper. Many people even do not know that they have to set up a tracking code. Many people do not know how to actually set up the remarketing code. So I would suggest that set up the conversion tracking code properly. And in tracking code, we have got 4 different types of tracking code setup. What you can do: one is your website, second one is your app, third one is your phone, the fourth one is your import email. So make sure that whatever is the best usage for your business, make sure that that conversion tracking code is best implemented on your website. And one more thing which you can also do it at the point of setup is also making sure that your remarketing code is properly set up on your website. And today, while you're setting up the conversion tracking code, automatically the remarketing code is also set up. So this is where you basically set up all the things properly, so that you are capturing the data, everything. And very important thing is, while you're talking about the setup, make sure that okay, your campaign, okay, strategy is also decided here. Because in setup, you will also come across setting up your search campaign or display campaign or video campaign. And I have a small you can say, one second, I'll just pull up the data so that people can just have a look. Hopefully we have
Yeah.
got another 10 minutes of time to share this.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, so can you all see my screen now?
Uh, Not yet.
Now?
Yeah. Yes, it is clear.
Okay. Because
Hmm. It's loading, I think. Your browser, na?
Yep. Yeah. So here, as you go on with the account setup, as you go on with the conversion tracking code setup, you also plan to initiate your new campaign setups, like whether you want to run search campaign, display campaign, video campaign, shopping campaign, and everything. And the same discussion we all also had in last few hours. And the discussion is all about what is the approach you actually take from search campaign to display campaign to this one. So you can see here.
Yeah, yes. Now it's loading, Ranjanji.
Yeah. Okay. So here, sorry guys for just taking your time. Okay. So you can see here very clearly that, okay, once your account is set up properly, your life will be more dealing around search campaign, display campaign, video campaign, shopping campaign, or app campaign, or remarketing campaign. And the same discussion happened that, okay, you can see someone was asking me like, okay, what is that? A good CTR. So I sometimes feel that, okay, there is a reason why we should be running a search campaign. If your focus is purely on conversion and increasing the conversion or traffic, you can go with search campaign. If your focus is purely on increasing the clicks or the brand awareness, everything, you can go with display campaign. You can go with video campaign again to increase your visibility. If you want to convert your traffic to conversions, you can go with remarketing. And this again is purely for more sales. But one more thing, what we were also discussing just before few hours was this part. I think, yeah, the bidding strategy. What I generally feel is, if for your search campaign you are somewhere bidding at, let's say, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, based on your given industry competition, I would suggest that if you're bidding for the display campaign, should be somewhere around 1 to 3. The same video, it should be somewhere around 0.50 paisa to 1 rupee. The reason why I'm trying to tell you, because the same thing even Casey told that, video is, you should bid, what is that? Video is a very aggressive marketing, but make sure that you bid accurately. The reason why, because video, your impressions can be huge, your traffic can be huge, but the quality can be less. So you should be very careful how much you are going to bid for your search campaign to your display campaign to your video campaign and everything. And this is a ratio what you can keep. If you're bidding at 30 rupees for search campaign, you can bid at 3 rupees for your display campaign. You can bid at 1 rupee for your video campaign, and you can bid somewhere between 5 to 10 rupees for your remarketing campaign. The reason why, because you know exactly whom you're trying to target through your remarketing, the one who already have shown interest, and you're ready to sacrifice little more spend or bid value than how you're trying to put the budgeting in terms of your display or video. So that is the strategy what you can keep. But PPC end of the day is all about testing. So as you test more, you will get a better understanding of your performance, and you can then go ahead with it. So once your phase one work, where you're keeping your work ready, is over, and your phase two is keep making sure that all your setup is ready with tracking code, and also creating the campaigns around search, display, video, and everything. Now the phase three is purely about campaign management. So campaign management leads into two types: whether you want to manage it naturally, whether you want to completely manage it through keyword bidding and all. And naturally, when I talk about general campaign management, it's all about adding new keywords, writing new ad copies, trying to add negative keywords, playing with the settings and everything. And with those changes also, there could be some improvement in your campaign performance. But the other campaign management is where you completely play with keyword bid optimization. You try to analyze your keyword performance on a daily basis, and either you try to increase or decrease the bid, or you try to pause the keyword, or whether you try to delete the keyword, or you try to do some sort of campaign management and everything. So campaign management is all about that. And then your regular process of optimization and analysis with reporting. And to be very frank, guys, once you reach to the phase 3 level, before you start with the campaign management, I would always suggest you that keep your reporting formats ready, because we do maintain some different reporting formats where we do have a daily tracking, we have a weekly targeting, and those all things you should do it first day or first hour of the day rather than doing it at the end of the day. So make sure that you have all the required reporting format before you start managing your campaign or doing different analysis and optimization. And for sure, reporting when it comes here, it could be one which is for your requirement, and the next one which is for your management requirement, that you have to make it proper. And for sure, we have got nowadays is much more easier because we have got different reporting options in the AdWords which you can use it. Okay, and then after all this minimal thing that you do by depending purely on the AdWords interface, now if you little bit want to expand your horizon and look at the other third party tools which can give you much more productive data so that you can optimize your campaign better, then you can depend upon Google Analytics, you can depend upon Search Console, you can depend upon SEM Rush, you can depend upon YouTube data and everything. Because end of the day, everything what you try to have it in AdWords for sure is great. They have a lot of features, there are a lot of targeting options, there are a lot of data that they can provide you. But to be very frank, you can also relate much of your work with your SEO work, your YouTube work and everything. Because you know what is the major drawback what I've seen with this industry while working with an agency is that I was working with PPC and my team was working, like there is another team members working in SEO. We try to compete among ourselves just because of one thing, that our appraisal has to be better by end of the year or end of half yearly, and that is how they do not merge and work together. But what I feel is SEO is completely dependent on PPC is completely dependent on SEO, and all the marketing channels are interdependent on each other. So we should not look at it at an independent point of view, but we should more look at a holistic way, how to see that we can work together, collect the data from each other's testing tool and use it for each other betterment. I think that is the best thing, because I use the SEO Search Console data to improvise my PPC performance. I use the SEO meta tags to write a better ad copy for Google AdWords. I use my Google AdWords ad copy, which is performing, to write a better meta tags for my SEO. So there are so many things which is interconnected. So if you look at it independently, it is not going to help you in a more 360-degree approach. The best thing is that work collateral, make use of all the different marketing channels to come to a single conclusion and try to do the marketing. And these are the three phase level. If you do follow up, at least you can confirm that I am doing or I'm running the PPC Google AdWords account in a very simple, easy, fundamental, right manner. And beyond to that, you have got more strategies, more features, more points, more scripting technology and everything, which you can always use it to make your campaign better, and more of your ideas analysis on. But this is a sequence if you can follow for every beginner, every individual who has just entered into Google AdWords, having a minimum of 0 to 6 months to 1 year's experience, should be connecting their dots in this manner to say that yes, I know Google AdWords at least fundamentally correct in the sequence. Later is my advanced topic that I'll be learning with time, with sequence, with a lot of support from a lot of platforms or scopes and everything. That is how I got to finish up my Google AdWords learning. So that's all about a brief of how this PPC lifecycle is important for an individual who is starting with Google AdWords or who is just getting along with a minimal years of experience. Thank you, guys.
That's definitely that PPC. I think why I'm having a resound thing. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now I'm okay. I think the PPC life cycle thing is really very interesting, Ranjanji. It's like a backbone of something you do. You start about the campaign. You know what to do before, during, and after, so that you do it very effectively. So whatever you mentioned in this small Excel sheet, that one pager is really effective and useful. I think this will be put to use by people. Definitely, people will get benefited from this thing. Anyhow, I'm recording it. We'll share it with the team.